And we're back for episode 16 of the Cashflow Corner. Excited to be back with my brother Jacob Thomas. I know on our previous episode, we said we were going to take a little time off. We had a couple projects that were coming up, the holidays, our birthdays as well, a vacation. So we've been pretty busy over the last month, but excited to get back on the podcast with you, Jacob. And with that, starting off, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thanks. And like you said, it feels good to get back in the podcast studio here with you. I know we have a ton of things to catch our listeners up on, and we're excited to get to that. And it's crazy. We're looking at the calendar here. It's already the end of January. It was a quick month. It went by fast. I feel like just with everything we've been doing, we've been so busy that time has just really started to fly by. And I know that 2025 is really going to be a big year for ourselves and Twin Lux Capital. So I can't wait to get everyone caught up to date on what's going on with us.
Yeah, and with that, we can get right into it. I know previously we said we had some deals coming up, and we're excited to announce that we have officially closed and are locked in on the North Edge property with our partners out here in Phoenix, Arizona of ASIM Capital, with the 72 unit property also being out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we're very excited that we got that wrapped up probably about this last week, and we got all the documents in needed for that, got everything locked in. And then from there, we're moving on to the second property that we mentioned in our last podcast episode, to our next deal of the Red River Trullo Homes project in Centerville, Ohio. And that's just another thing that has really taken up a good amount of our time, but something that we're very happy with and excited to continue moving on with that project as well. Again, a big thank you to our partners at Red River for bringing us in on the deal, and we're excited to partner with them on this. When we're hopefully looking to get everything with that deal finished and wrapped up by the end of February. So that's really where our heads are at and what we're aiming for. So definitely staying busy, but really couldn't be more happy for what we're doing and continue to stay on track. And with that, I'm not sure if you want to mention anything, Jake, but definitely feeling grateful and excited.
Yeah, I just want to go back to, like you were talking about with the first deal that we secured, and we actually got our first capital raise under our belt here at Twin Lux Capital. So that's something, we wanted to check off our list as a 2024 goal. We, spent most of 2024 really starting to develop those relationships and starting to really set our sights on what projects we wanted to get into. We know we wanted to get into something here in the Phoenix area. So, that was mission accomplished in terms of a 2024 goal. I know it happened early in 2025, but now that we're looking into 2025, it's crazy to think about. Like you said, we're already working on this next deal, so things have really just started to rapidly pick up in terms of growth for Twin Lux Capital, and couldn't be happier about that. I know the first deal we were fully subscribed, so that's always good to see on that end. And I know that we have a limited number of spots for this Red River deal, so if this is something where you're curious and want to learn more, definitely reach out to Aaron and I about more information. And I feel like this is a good place, Aaron, of I don't know how most of our listeners are really getting information from Twin Lux Capital and from you and I, Aaron, but I feel like the best way to stay up to date and really make sure that you're getting all the information you need is by joining our community through our website. It's really just as simple as going through, putting your information in, putting your email in, because that's going to be the best way to really get communication with Aaron and I. I know when we started this podcast, we were kind of shooting for every other week, but as projects and things have started to come up, and also at the same time too, we've been jumping on some other podcasts with some different individuals as well. So just a lot of different things going on in the pot right now. So just to make sure that you guys are fully updated on the communication sides of things, go ahead and join our community. That way you guys are involved and really up to date on everything that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And like you mentioned, we are going to be on a few podcasts and we're going to have some more guests coming on our podcast here in the next few weeks. We're actually going to be on Lone Star Capital's podcast, which is another great sponsor and another great group that we're looking forward to partnering with in the future. And we're going to be on their podcast this week. And also going back to the Red River deal, like you mentioned, there are a few spots. I know we said in the North Edge deal that it was fully subscribed. We got everything in, and it was pretty limited in terms of the capital raise. But with the Centerville Red River Trula Homes project, it is a larger deal and it's a larger project, so there is more capital that needs to go into the deal. So if this is something that you are still thinking about, reach out to us because it is a great deal. And also, whenever you partner with us, like we mentioned before, you get a better share of classes for your investment. So instead of just going in alone and getting that bottom share class with us, you receive the highest institutional grade asset class and investment class. So I know a couple of people have asked us, like, really, what's our secret sauce or what's the secret sauce going into the deal? And really, every deal has their pros and cons and has their special sauce. But even to add more into that, with Twin Lux Capital, whenever you join us in a deal, you are getting the highest return on investment for that deal than any other investor in that deal. So that's what really excites us. We like to get our investors the best deal possible. We want them to see great returns and really just see them flourish in their investment career. And for us, that's really what we've been trying to hone in on and talk to a lot of investors about. If that is something that you have any questions about or anything like that, please reach out to us at our website at twinluxcapital.com, like Jacob mentioned. But I know we said it's a new year, 2025. If this is something that's been on your brain and you've been wanting to get into commercial real estate investing, there is no minimum, which is another pro with investing with us. So it doesn't have to be a large sum of money. Wherever you feel comfortable, either as a new investor or a seasoned investor, it is definitely a great deal to take a look at. So I recommend reaching out to myself or Jacob to get a little bit more detail on that deal.
Yeah, that's a great point of alluding to of, those classes of shares and what that gives our investors access to, as opposed to if you were to go off on a standalone or just simply on your own into one of these deals. So thanks for reiterating that, because I feel like that has gotten maybe a little lost or misconstrued in some of the communications that we've been having with investors. So we just want to make that really clear about, since we are raising a large portion of equity, we're going to get better economics when it comes to these deals. And that's just something that I feel like is really important to mention. And then going, further into the conversation here, Aaron, I know you talked a little bit about 2025. I talked about our goals of 2024 as a company in Twin Lux Capital. So really for 2025, and you can really take this any way you want, from a personal level, from the podcast, from a company structure standpoint, what can listeners really expect from us going into 2025? What are some things you're looking forward to, whether that's goals that you have set out? I guess just fill the listeners in a little more of what to expect, come 2025.
Yeah, great question. And I would say we're definitely checking some already goals off the list with 2025 with the deal we recently just closed, first deal under the belt from a co-GP standpoint, and then the Red River deal coming up as well, of really finishing that, getting all equity raised and get that project moving. But then from there, I know we've previously talked, we may do another co-GP deal, possibly with one of the two companies that we have done a deal with, or even this Lone Star Capital team who we've been in great communication with. They do a lot of deals in Texas, which gets us excited. It's a great market. I know they have done a lot of deals previously, so they consistently have those rinse and repeat deals. So we are looking at possibly doing a deal with them. But then ultimately, still the big goal for us is myself and Jacob and Twin Lux Capital may take the reins here towards the end of 2025 at doing our own deal as the main sponsor and general partner. This may be a smaller deal here in Phoenix, Arizona, of, let's say, 25 to 30, 35 units, maybe aiming around a $5 to $7 million purchase price. And ultimately, that's where our focus is, maybe down the road here at the end of 2025. But I know it's a goal that we've been aiming at for a while, and we feel like we have a good enough momentum. We've really built up a good community and communication with investors, but also sponsors and other people that are involved in the real estate world here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we have a lot of great connections, and ultimately just looking at seeing what the market does throughout these next few months, what comes onto the market from really perspective of the properties that we are looking at, and then ultimately finding a deal that we love and that we would want to bring to our investors to join in on us with that deal. So ultimately, I would say those are our big goals for this year of 2025. And I know everything, there's always more that comes up throughout the year that I know we end up kind of getting into, maybe from a limited partner standpoint, from a different deal, or any opportunities that really come our way. Definitely mix us up a little bit, but I know there's a lot on our plate right now, and honestly just want to keep it that way, and just keep that momentum, and ultimately and strive for the best and most successful 2025 that we can provide. And from there, I would say those are our big goals, at least for myself. I guess, Jacob, would you have any different goals for 2025, or what would you say?
No, I thought you made a lot of really good points there. And I just want to go back to the momentum that we've already captured. As I said, we're only not even through January already, and we're checking off a lot of goals that we wanted to accomplish. And that's all great. But yeah, it's that momentum that I feel like is really just going to carry us to endless opportunities, growth as we look further into the calendar year. And I was making this joke with you a couple days ago, but I really feel like 2025 is going to be, you're going to kind of, wrap around three different things: President Trump retaking office, the Kansas City Chiefs possibly winning a three-peat, and then Twin Lux Capital taking over the real estate game in 2025. I feel like those are the claims that I want to put out there for 2025. I feel confident in saying that, just because of all the things that we're going to accomplish here in the next, call it 10 to 12 months. And really through this, the best way to capitalize and really, continue on with this momentum, and what I'm looking forward to the most, is expanding our network further on, just outside of our inner circle of our close family, friends. Those are really typically our investors right now. And the one thing that I'm looking forward to is the continued outreach through social media, different platforms, because it's really going to be a goal of mine to connect with outsider people, develop those new relationships. That way we can start to bring in and build out that community, and essentially achieve that bigger picture goal of what we see Twin Lux Capital growing into one day. But yeah, I feel like you made a lot of really good points, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to attack everything that comes our way. And I feel like we've put out a plan, and I can't wait to see us achieve it.
As Jim Harbaugh would say, attack each day with enthusiasm unknown to mankind. So that's up on our wall, and I know it's something that we strive for every day, is to go out and attack each day, and ultimately just trying to be the best. And I know there's a lot of people in the commercial real estate world. I know there's a lot of people who also want to get involved in the commercial real estate world, and we believe ourselves to be a great guidance really into investing into commercial real estate. Even though we have some seasoned investors and new investors, I know we started this podcast originally for new investors or people that might not know really what real estate investing is, to really start to get involved in real estate investing. And I know we've had some conversations with some newer investors who have had a lot of good questions, but who may ultimately be a little hesitant about actually investing and getting involved. They have a good understanding of what it might be, but ultimately just being able to take that leap of faith and to really set up your future by investing in real estate deals, because ultimately that's what we're trying to provide for this podcast, for our company, and just really build people up, because it's hard to succeed on your own. It's hard to do anything just by yourself. You have to work together, which ultimately is why real estate syndication was a great vehicle for us, and is a great vehicle of what we believe in, because for that you have to have a group of people that come together, that want to achieve a common goal, and ultimately want to succeed together. And that's what we're aiming for. And that's what gets me excited about the world of commercial real estate. So if you are maybe a new investor, reach out to us, comment below, like, send us DMs, just reach out to us, and we're more than willing to set up a meeting with you to talk and really just go over everything that may interest you, may work in your portfolio, but just getting you set up in the commercial real estate world. Jake, with that, what would you have to say?
No, not a whole lot. I know we're going to kind of start to wrap the conversation up, but before we leave, I can't, reiterate it or go over it enough. Just kind of the upcoming steps of what investors should do and look out for. Like we said, we're currently active in this deal with Red River. If that's something you perhaps want to have a separate one-off conversation with Aaron or myself, feel free to make an appointment and call us. We're more than happy to have those conversations. You can do that. Like I said, go to our website, put your information in, and that's probably the best way to connect with us. And yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to hit on before we wrap up today's conversation in this episode. It's really just as we set our sights on 2025. By now, you should probably already have somewhat of an idea of your goals, your financial goals that you want to have for this year. So really start to hone in on those if you haven't already. I feel like that's a crucial aspect of being able to prepare and plan, really just to best set yourself up for not only this year but for the future. So I can't wait for the listeners to hear this podcast and really start to get involved with us as we have an exciting 2025 coming up.
Yeah, great. And I know we're going to have some more information coming out about the Red River deal as well. We're actually doing an underwriting video to walk any investor through that. And we have our webinar that we can send you as well, and a lot more information, the slide deck, everything you need to know about the deal. Just reach out to us if that is something that you're interested in. And ultimately, we're going to try to keep Cashflow Corner every other week like we were doing previously. Like I mentioned, we were pretty busy this last month, but excited to get back after it. We also have a good amount of guests that are lined up that are planning on coming on. So look out for those episodes. And also, if you have any suggestions or anything more that you would like to hear more about, learn about, reach out to us and just let us know. And we'd love to hit any topics that you guys may have. But with that, I think that's a great place to wrap up today. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.